Okay guys, today we have something very interesting, I would say, at least in my opinion. It is an untouched HP laptop from those oldies but really goodies. And this one is in, I would say, pristine condition. It has not been damaged or crashed or burned so far. And yes, I got it not too long ago just because I wanted to go back in memory lane, I guess, and there's really no other reasons for me to do such a thing, but I wanted to show it to all of you guys. And now, without wasting any time, we're gonna fire it up and see what it has to offer. Let me just put my microphone closer so you can hear that beautiful starting music. I just hope you guys heard that, and in case any of you missed this original music, well, now you get back to that memory lane. Norton was installed. This is bare bones, what do you want to call it, except for a few programs that it was in use actually up to a few years ago, and except for their personal stuff, obviously they took out of it. Everything else was left as it was bought back in the day. Nothing has been changed on it, just how it was, Windows XP Professional. And this is just one of those kind of relics, you would call it. I call it a beauty that it's hard to put a price on these anymore because, you know, they don't make this type anymore, and for a good reason sometimes. And as you see, we still have AOL right there, America Online 9.0, and there's no updates for these anymore because it's a Windows XP and Microsoft pulled the plug on them. But I just wanted to show you guys this computer that is in great condition and that I still have it. And this is the modified theme. Let me see if we have the original Windows XP theme. Oh yeah, please. And I intentionally have not changed all this stuff up to now, just so we can watch it all together. I hit OK, and now it looks very familiar to me and to a lot of you guys, and this is actually a very beautiful piece to have. Let me go to properties again. That was the most fun part that I used to have. This is our desktop. Yeah, I'm not gonna change Bliss, I'm gonna leave that hill there. This is where we get the 3D texting, the pipes, Beziers, whatever that means, and all that good stuff. Appearance, Windows XP style, default blue, always. And here's if you have a second monitor, and it goes up to 32 bits. If you guys remember that Windows 2000 and early Windows XP, we had only 16 bits, and now we have up to 32 bits on this one. And yes, it has Movie Maker, it has Microsoft Messenger, QuickTime Media Player. There is so much that brings back a lot of good memory. I'm not currently connected. Let me see what it does. Oh, look at that. Dial in your modem. I'm not sure if any of you guys in the comments actually even know what dialing your modem is, and don't worry about it. Yes, it used to be almost like a phone call to get signal for your internet. That's how we used to have internet with the DSL, and it worked pretty good for the time, can't lie. I used to enjoy that, and there was nothing wrong with it until that new stuff came out, and it just made 0 cents anymore. This is AOL for a lot of you that probably have never seen AOL. This is how AOL used to open. That's 9.0. That's actually quite a late thing here. Okay, these are to log in and all that, and I don't have those. Plus, probably even if I had, it would not work at this day and age, so we're just gonna close it. And yes, that's what it was. You could read our messages that it would say, "You've got mail." And I'm not sure if any of you actually even remembers that. Wow, I feel actually very old right now. And let me go to settings. Oh yeah, I remember this one just like the day that I used it. And that was actually not that long ago, but technology has changed so much and so fast recently that seriously feels like it was, I don't know, 30 years ago, but it was not 30 years ago, because otherwise I wouldn't remember it. And this is where you retain all your mail, reform all that. Wow, always minimize headers, picture quality. Wow. Okay, here's where you compose a message. Oh, looks like it would almost work, and I'm gonna not send it because we do not have a connection here. And no, I'm intentionally not trying to connect this laptop. And I put some videos here just to see if it even works. And it will be a 6 kilobyte video, which is quite heavy. And let's see if it opens up. Yes, it's this laptop here, and it's barely opening, but it's opening. And that's what the Windows Media Player used to look like, just in case you've never seen it before. Yeah, that's I cannot even believe that I'm saying it. It feels like I'm talking about something ancient, like from the Egyptian time. This is just 10-15 years ago. Well, maybe a little bit more than 15 years ago, but it was yesterday. I remember it. Wow. And that's all. You could rip, you could burn, you could synchronize, you could do all that stuff. And yes, this is the XP professional version, because the home version was different, or personal, we used to call it sometimes, kind of in a close circles. That one didn't have all that beautiful stuff that you saw right there. You had to buy extra stuff, and it was all a bit of a mess, but hey, it worked. And this is Microsoft Office Word 2003, in case you've never seen this before. And actually, Microsoft Office has not changed that drastically, I would say. These latest years, it's kind of similar stuff. Yeah, it might have spell correction and all that good stuff, but in my opinion, if you're a writer or do a lot of scripting, unlike me, I think this laptop actually is better when it comes to writing. This keyboard right here is extremely amazing. It has a really nice texture to it that I don't know how to describe. It just feels really good. It makes sense. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say here. And these are the options on the files and all that beautiful stuff we used to have. And actually, I miss this Office Word that we used to have. I miss this one. I don't know why. Just please let me know in the comments below if there's any of you that would still take this one today. And I'm talking about to use it, not just, obviously I have it, so I took it, but that you would still use it if it was supported. Is I would. I'm not lying. It was Windows XP probably was above Windows 7 in my opinion. I would go Windows 7 first, then I would go Windows XP first, then Windows 7. That's how good this system was actually built. Very robust, not annoying, not weird. And can you guess how much RAM do I have inside here? 512 megabytes. Because I don't have a 1200S stick. I have a lot of them, but I have the 5400S. I don't have any 1200S. And in case you don't know, the difference is actually quite ridiculous. But the differences were that opening or that split is on the RAM. 1200 versus I think it's 5300, or correct me if I'm wrong. The difference is literally hair thin, but it doesn't fit on it. So I'm stuck with 512 megabytes, not gigabytes. Well, I don't have 512 gigabytes on my main machine, but... And here are the settings. Yes, you could configure game controllers, add or remove programs, automatic updates, firewall. Everything was like what you would see in an actual Windows 10. I'm not gonna say 11, but Windows 10. Besides portable media devices, Java, phone and modem, and SoundMax. Well, now SoundMax depends on the drivers. We used to have to install drivers on these. If you plug in something to this laptop right now that has not been plugged before and there's no drivers pre-installed or installed afterwards on it for that device, it will not be recognized 9 times out of 10. Rarely, probably USB or something small would be recognized if it was a storage device that did not require its own proprietary drivers. But if it was a camera or a keyboard or something bigger, keyboards would get recognized, by the way, but special functions a lot of times would not work in the more fancy keyboards. And you had to go to a website and you had to download the drivers for that device. And no, drivers were not automatic for devices. That was just a beautiful thing. I remember actually buying stuff and they would come with a CD, and I can show you probably a disc. I might have one somewhere. Let me just find it for you guys so you can actually see it on an example. what I'm even saying here. And just so you guys don't think that I'm messing with you, well, for example, you bought a floppy drive, let's say, and you installed it, you plugged it to your either serial port or your USB. If you had a USB like this one has on the sides, you could get one of these. Look how beautiful. That was the CD for the floppy drive. The drivers, that was for the printer. That was another one for another printer. And that's for another printer. That's how drivers used to actually come with devices. And I'm talking about up to a few years ago. I'm not talking about a million years ago that like some of you might be assuming. And if you think this was the only disc that we had, you are wrong. There was the tiny disc, the mini, that in some devices that didn't require a big file, we used to get this tiny cute disc right here. And I have a Targus one. That's a port replicator used to be. That's the discs that came with it. As you see, well, I have quite a big hand, but you get the point. And yeah, I know you might say, but well, Apple and all these modernized and came around and did all the good stuff. Well, let me show you something about Apple. These discs, yeah, just to install just to install Mac OS. Just to install Mac OS, and this was Mac OS 9. So you are still running on Mac OS 10 today. And as you see here, for example, Mac OS install, let me show you something else here. Let me show you. Disk 1, as you see right there on the side, iMac Software Restore 1 of 3, Software Restore 2 of 3, Software Restore 3 of 3, and you get the point. These are for the installer. Apple hardware test. This is just a laminate that's on top. The disk is actually perfectly fine. Whew, let's not get tangled now outside the Windows XP, but the reason I gave that, just to give you some context of what era this laptop belongs and why it is so special for me to have a laptop like this one in perfect condition. This one is in perfect condition. And let me shut it down because we saw what we saw. Oh, before we shut it down, let me show you one last thing right here that probably a lot of you might laugh right now because you've never seen it before, and I don't blame you. And this was Windows Movie Maker, everyone's favorite video editor that, well, it's obsolete now. There's nothing that you can actually do with it. Maximum will do 1x1 video if you have some old MP4 files and very light. I'm not gonna go through that process fully, so I don't want to bore you out. But this was a video editor, and a lot of you probably remember, and a lot of you know how it worked, and that's why you are stuck with Filmora like me, because it reminds me of a movie maker. I want to show you now the sound when you turn this laptop off, and let me put my microphone closer so you guys can hear it. And that was the Windows XP shutdown sound, and this is the shutdown screen. And just to me personally, I have good memories from Windows XP. I'm not gonna lie, there's nothing, absolutely nothing I would say that would persuade me to say that I don't like Windows XP or I would not use Windows XP. Even to this day right now as I talk to you. And really quick, let me show you the ports and options that came with this computer right here. And as you see right there, okay, so we have two USB-A's right there, and we have a VGA out, air out, phone line, yes, that was a thing, regular Ethernet line, and this one was the, I don't know how they call serial port or modem port, something like that. I'm not very sure about that. Here would be the expansion media cards, and sometimes you would have remote controls to watch TV on your laptop. Believe it or not, it was a real thing, and with a lot of especially HPs, the remote came with the laptop. In the front here, we have an IR blaster for infrared connectivity to transfer files, and now here in the middle we have the card reader that took SD, MS, Pro, MMC, SD, XD, whatever the names were. This is the card reader that this laptop had back then. In the other side, really quick, we have two USB-A's, microphone jack, headphone jack. They were separate. They were not toggled like you have today. And here on the next side with them, we have a DVD multi-reader that it would read, because this one doesn't have the write so you don't write with this one, you only read with this one, DVD or CD. And this is a serial port that you would connect a printer or whatnot. And on the bottom, as you see right here, for example, right now, let me put you guys on the other camera. This is on the bottom of it. That's where you would put, for example, an extra battery or a docking here on top of it. Here's the original card that came with this laptop. This is why I actually like this laptop. So yeah, this was the card that came with it. Let me put it back on that little card pocket without breaking it, because I like to preserve this one. It has the original tag, untouched, original tags here, the Cisco tag, the product, serial number, and all that tag. It has the original 40 gigabytes hard drive, mechanical hard drive, and the original 512 megabytes RAM stick that is not moving from there, and it's staying the way it is. Here's the battery. As you see, it has similar to the ProBook batteries. If you had a ProBook or Elite Book, they have a similar battery to this one. And yes, I did all I could to actually find the original charger for this laptop as well. And believe it or not, it's not the easiest thing to do. It is not. And here's the brick. It is very dirty, but I didn't have time to wash it yet. This is the brick itself. Everything else is normal except for the barrel. Now this is where the difference comes in, because they are not the same as the newer HPs, as you see right there. This one has like kind of a step, and it has only the two poles, negative and positive. Newer ones are completely different when it comes to that build, and this is why it was not easy to find that. And with that said, I just hope you liked something on this video overall, and some of you probably remember something from back in the day from one of these laptops. And I hope you have a nice time after this video, and please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye!